Hello and welcome to this video of how to install electric underfloor heating. Okay, at the moment we have our floor base, so step one will be we want to completely clear the floor, getting rid of all big bits and plaster, anything that's on the floor wants to go. Once that's done, then we apply the insulation boards. Now, step one is putting the insulation boards down. Now, when you lay the boards, you want to put them in a checkered fashion. What you don't want to do is put them directly opposite each other. So when we lay it, checkered fashion on the whole floor, and then you cut the boards to suit. So lay the board down, and then with a Stanley knife we're going to cut the edges so that then it fits nice round the shower tray and on the whole floor. Now that all the boards are laid, next step is to seal all the joints, and now for that we have a standard plaster of scrim tape. So we're just going to run this round the edges and to seal up all of the joints. Now, as you can see, all of the scrim tape is down. The next stage is to fix the boards. Now, to do that, we're using a Delta board washer, so that then when the screw goes in, it sits nice and flat and it's not going to damage the underfloor heating. Now that all the screws are down, for this one we've put 15 screws for a board, which is the manufacturer's recommendations. The other way to fix the board is that you can use a flexible tile adhesive to fix the boards down. Okay. Now, once all the boards are fixed, the next step is to mark out where your fittings are going to go. In this case, we've got a toilet and a sink. So we've marked them out so that then now when we come to laying our floor heating, that then we know what to avoid, so that then if they're fixing the toilets or the sinks down, they're not going to go through the underfloor heating. Okay, so now we know where everything's going. Now we're at the point where we're going to lay our electric underfloor heating. Okay, so there's a few key rules that you need to know about when laying underfloor heating. Firstly, the cable can't touch. Okay, that's the rule number one. They can't cross and you cannot cut the cable. So whatever floor heating you go for, you need to make sure it fits the room. Okay. So when we lay our underfloor heating, there's the easiest way to lay it is to just do a bit of planning first. Okay. So all our mats are 1/2 metre wide. So this one is a 5 square metre. So this is actually 10 metres long. So when we design it in our room, we get our measurements of our room. In this case, this is about 3.3 metres. So we can get 6 rungs in this room. So that then from that, then we can know roughly how long each run needs to be, so that then by the time we get to the end, the mat is fitting right, so we don't have too much or too less. Okay? So this is our mat, okay? It comes with your cold lead, and then this goes up to your floor heating controller. So we open the matting out and we start it where your controller is going to be. So in our case, we have a conduit going up the wall and our controller is the other side of our wall here. So we start at the edge and roll it out. Okay. Now, for cutting the mat, I'm using scissors, but you can use a Stanley, but you need to be really careful not to nick the wire when you do that. So we run it out, get to the wall. Now we're wanting to turn the mat round and roll it this way. So we want the loop to be on this side. If we were turning it round and rolling it the other way, we would want to cut the loop on this side. So we find out which one we're doing, which is this one. We cut our mesh. We turn it round. And we roll it back. Okay, now we've come to our first fitting. As you can see, the mat doesn't fit, so what we need to do, we need to make the mat into a loose cable. So for this, we're going to cut the mat into several strips. Now, what makes our mat really nice and easy for the installer is that we make the whole of our mesh completely adhesive. So even though when we make it into loose cables, okay, we've still got 80mm of sticky mesh to help stick the mat down. So once we've got everything laid, then we can pat it down, it can stick nice and flat, so that then when we come to put our levelling compound over the top, the whole lot stays nice and flat on the floor. So we go to where we want to go to, and we cut several strips. Now, if you wanted to take it off the mesh completely, you can do that. So we cut several strips, we fill in where we want it to go. Okay, so now that all the floor heating is laid, we need to then work on getting your probe and your cold lead up to your controller. Okay, so you feed down a fish wire or a draw wire, connect both your two cables to it, and pull them up to the controller. Okay, once you've done that, then we need to create a channel in the underfloor heating or in your subfloor, so that then the cable sits flat. Now in this case it's nice and easy because we put the insulation boards down, so we can just use a Stanley to make a little channel for then the hot and cold joint to sit flat in the floor. Okay. Also, with regards to the probe, we've put the probe in line with our floor heating. Okay, and so the idea is you want your probe to be equidistant between the two runs of wire. Okay, what you don't want to do is have your probe directly underneath one of your wires, because then you'll get a false reading. So you want it to be in the middle of your wire. Once again, make a channel, it's up to your controller. We give you a floor heating conduit, so that then you put your probe in that conduit and sit that underneath the floor. Tape up the end so that then no levelling compound or adhesive can then go up that, and then just lay that down on the floor and then run that to your control. And then that's the next stage. So now we're ready to put the levelling compound down on the floor. If you've got any sides, or if there's anything which is slightly lifting and you need to fix it down, you can fix it down with either a spray tack or a duct tape. One thing you don't want to do is fix it down with staples, because that's a big no-no, because you'll go through the cable. Okay, so the last stage is doing the levelling compound. Now for spreading it, you can either use a plastic trowel, or I've got here a trowel for using for grout. So you want something that's nice and light. The one thing you don't want is a metal trowel, because then you could cut through the cable. So we've got our mixture here, and we're just going to pour it onto our floor. And we're just going to spread this out, just nice and gently. Now, the levelling compound that you want to use a flexible levelling compound. Now this is one made by Talmaster Adhesives, which has a fibre in it which makes it even more stronger. So when it's expanded and contracting under the heat, then it's not going to crack and break. So you just want to spread it out nice and gently. Now you can do this in different thicknesses depending on how much you want to raise your floor by. We're just going to do a 3mm. Because the sole purpose of this is to protect the cable. So once this is dry, your tiler can come along and he can walk on it, he can lay his tiles on it, and you're not going to damage your cable.